entertainment, current events, and Hollywood. Don't miss Creator to Creators, hosted by the filmmaker Meosha, known for the Shudder hit documentary Horror Noir and the acclaimed film Anatomy of an Anti-Hero, Redemption. This show features interviews with filmmakers and creatives from around the globe. Join the fun with guest celebrities and gain valuable insights. Subscribe now and follow Creator to Creators.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Creators to Creators today. Today we have a special guest.
Joesph Blue.
Joesph
Black
Blue.
Sheep Records.
All right, welcome to the show. Very excited to talk to you. So I like going back to the beginning. I always say the beginning charts our trajectory in life, our little habits we pick up along the way, follow us into our adulthood. Tell me a little bit about your childhood. What was that like? And kind of how did you find your way into, the music world?
I grew up in Louisiana, South, in the swamps and the bayous. I grew up rural, so my dad was an auto body technician, and I just went to school, worked in the yard, no shoes, no shorts. I mean, no shoes, no shirts in the summertime, just normal things. And I kind of my family being from South Louisiana.
Hmm.
My uncles sang French music, and then my cousins
Mm,
had bands, and my dad was a songwriter through melody. I guess I kind of took that from him, and then
hmm.
just a turn of events that I've been writing about for 20 years of a lot of loss in the last 20 years. My dad passed away, my sister, my
Mm.
mom, my wife, they all
Wow.
spiraled down. So it's like this is my outlet. So
Yeah.
I tell truth in my song. The song that's on the that's playing now it's 100% of what happened the night my wife died, uh,
Mm.
July um 4th of 2023.
Wow. Wow. I mean, I commend you. Thank you so much for sharing that and being so vulnerable and open to share that kind of vulnerability. I think it takes a lot to put that out for the world to hear. But I love what you said. It is like it's like a way to keep going and I guess therapy in a way.
Yes, ma'am.
Um, so I'm curious, like, what was there getting into music and having that as an outlet? Was it someone that inspired you to get into it? Was it hearing a song one day and you're like, I think I want to do this. I think this is my calling.
Well, I'll be honest with you. My dad passed away, suicide,
Mm. Oh my
uh,
God. So sorry.
October 15th of 2024. In between me and my sister's birthday. So he committed suicide, and 7 days later, my sister's birthday, we had to bury him. And then 4 days later was mine, and then my mom was, November 13th. So we that kind of, and then when my wife died,
Yeah.
just 2.5 years ago, she died in my house. She wasn't sick.
Mm.
She had a embolism, and then my
Oh no.
mom just 8 months later passed away as well in my house. And it's like these things made us. You can't you can't handle grief. So I was like just putting it down, and then next thing you know, I document my history. So I got a lot of lyrics, a lot of things produced. I just decided that that first song was dedicated to my wife for
Mm.
Black Sheep Records, like just to let you know that we tell the truth in the song. We don't sugarcoat
Yeah.
it. Um,
Yeah.
that's
And I think, I mean, I think a lot of people are very afraid of being honest, especially creatively, because it does expose something of you yourself. And, um, I think it really takes a lot of guts to do that. As far as like the process of when you were writing this song, which is, so beautiful, Summer Nights, Goodbye, which is an amazing debut single. Tell me about the process of creating it lyrically, writing it. What was that like? And or did it just how did it come to you?
Well, it's the thing about my songs are they're pretty easy because it's based on actual event. I just detail the event, and then I'll take a line and say like, well, that's not really singable, and then I'll put it into a little synonym thing, and I'll look through synonyms and try to figure better ways to show what I'm feeling without telling you, if that makes any sense, like a cinematic overview. Like you can picture set up a scene. I'm a movie buff. That's all me and my father did for growing up. So everything's a scene to me, and that's how I try to put it. And we had a couple songs reviewed by Matt Turner of Concord Records, and the three more commercial ones. He had zero notes and nothing but you turn a 5 minute conversation into 23 minutes of overtime. He's like, he wasn't supposed to ask me personal questions. So I think the music, uh, I think I'm just a dummy, right? From Louisiana that just likes people to know my story, but I didn't know people wanted to hear it. So,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, I mean, it again, I can't, stop praising you because I think a lot of people, honestly, especially now, are feeling a lot of things. Like life is really hard, for a lot of people. And, I think however crazy or however dark our journey is, I do believe that, someone can benefit from our story, you know, however, whatever form that is, whether it's, cinematically, musically, artistically, I feel like it's very important to put it out there. But I don't know how you do it. I commend you. Like I bow down to you because, I just also came through it. I came out of a really traumatic last year was the hardest year of my life, in a family dynamic, but I just can't imagine. So my question to you is, how did you get to the other side of that, or are you still in process?
well, you don't get over it. I'm sorry to hear what you're going through.
Thank you.
2023 was bad for us because,
Hmm.
like I said, my wife was 42. She wasn't supposed to die a day after our 19th anniversary. So
Wow.
she dies. I wake her up. The song details what happened. Is like stunned. We were stunned, and then not 5 months later, 24-year
Hmm.
old cousin passes away in Houston after going to the gym. He's 24, not supposed to die. Then 3 months later, my mom, and then 7 months later, my cousin. So we had in a year time, we had four losses, and it just spiraled, and you don't have a word to say. All I try to do is take what I went through and the process that I don't say it helped me, but maybe
Yeah.
I can help somebody understand that they're not the only one, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Absolutely. You said you keep working until it sounds like, your music, like what you hear in your head. What does that
yes, ma'am.
moment of the final, like right feel like for you?
Well, the thing is, when I'm listening to a lyric or I write a lyric, I kind of go there and I'm like, in my head, I know if I want a Chris Stapleton sound, I know if I want
Uh-huh.
it bluesy, I know if I want some gospel in it, I want hip hop, and I grew up on hip hop
Mm-hmm.
and old country because my mom listened to the '70s country, your Conway Twitty, Loretta Lynn, um, and then you got the new guys, Morgan Wallen taking the beats
Yeah.
from the hip hop, and it's like for me, I love hip hop. It's mine.
Yeah.
I try to put a little bit of that flavor so people can say, hey, country's not all bad and all songs about losing your dog. Sometimes it's a lesson you can teach somebody or help somebody.
Yeah. Absolutely. Your writing focuses on small, vivid details. Why are those moments so important, in your storytelling?
Because it's what happened. When I tell you, when I say a line that like, hey, two tiny fists pumping on chest, that's a 14-year-old girl,
Mm,
Gabby, that actually was pulled her mom off of the bed and started CPR before I could find a phone. And then my son came back doing
Wow.
that, like, "Hey, mom, your chest." My mom's chest is cracking. I'm like, "Hey, we got to," and we
Yeah.
had to do it. We called 911 and like, do it to the beat, staying alive. It's like, um,
Yeah.
we didn't know she was already gone, but we stayed, about 45 minutes before they got here, and then they took the wheel, right? They left, made us leave the room. That really
Yeah.
happened. They took
Wow.
over for an hour and a half. Then they come out just like the song says, and they asked us to leave. So that's the kind of things
Yeah.
that went on.
Yeah. Like I'm curious, we're living in such a an industry, well, we're the creative world is such a I guess competitive industry, and always there's always these nuances of new people, new sounds. It's definitely different than it was back in the day, where there was record deals and all those things versus now is everything streaming. So, and AI. Do you feel like music, for the independent artist is going in a good direction, or do you feel like we've kind of digressed in a way?
I think AI is a good tool. I don't visualize AI can put a song um,
Mm,
together, but I think it can help you get a sound out. Suno is pretty good at instead of telling them like it's good at answering a question like, "Hey, I want a gritty sound. I want a texture of Louisiana.
yeah,
I want a little hip." You can explain stuff, but actually AI trying to write your music, I don't believe it can do it. At least not at the moment, because
yeah.
it can't live the life you live. You know.
Right. Right. And what we feel is real and authentic and the human experience instead of it being something of a computerized emotion that honestly studies humans, right? So it's really not, there's a big difference. And I think, yeah, I think music back then too was just, you felt it, like it was like soulful, like you felt it in your soul,
Yes, ma'am.
opposed to the kind of music we hear and digest now. It's like we're kind of moving away from that. It's like it feels like it's like let's put it out now. Let's put it out now, and it doesn't feel like what you just put out, which is coming from a real authentic place. And I don't think a lot of artists or people do that anymore. So thank you for doing that.
Yes, ma'am.
Um, do with your company and all that you've done, you hear about artists getting their masters, taking control of their masters, and but also the bigger conglomerate studios who are taking advantage of their artistic, sounds and freedoms, literally, quite literally. You hear
Mm.
about Britney Spears and the conservatism situation, and and breaking free from her father, who was stealing millions of dollars from her all her career. And you hear these things, and you're just thinking, like, do you feel like it's better for artists to take control of their own assets versus being, signed to a big uh, company?
Yes, ma'am. We opened it because I didn't want somebody to tell me when or what to release, how it should sound, and to tell me how I should dress. I
Right.
can release what I want. When my first song came out on Good Friday, I chose it, not them. They would say, "Oh, you got to soften some of it." It's not about soft. It's if you tell the truth, and I own 100% of everything I have, so
Love
I
that.
don't want somebody to tell me. Oh, you can or you can't. Yes, all the advertising budget's coming from me, but you know what? If you don't advertise, nobody's gonna know who you are.
That's so true. That's so true. Do you feel like you know, streaming, and I don't know, I think social media is so fast. Sometimes I get overwhelmed with it, because you have to post every day. You got to get your numbers up. Like you said, you got to put it out there. You got to do the whole thing, interviews, and when do you have time to, and do you take time for yourself to kind of step away and have that kind of, all right, I'm not gonna do this today. I'm going to relax and pull back and get back into my mental stability. And what does that look like for you? What do you do?
it,
How do you
it,
implement those
it,
things?
it's kind of when it comes to writing a song, just 2 days ago I wrote 3 songs. Why?
Wow.
Have no idea, but it was there. It was 2:37 a.m. On
Wow.
Sunday night, and I'm like, you got to put it down into, and then you can go back and edit it after, but you got to kind of put it down. But like yesterday, I decided not even to try to listen to music or just try just sit down and watch TV. I'm lucky to be able to work with my children. We have a small cleaning
Yeah.
business their mom had, and as a legacy, we still do it, and they work with me. Not that they want to, but they do. Because they want to keep their mom's memory alive. So,
Hmm.
but us is just like a Sunday. Maybe barbecue or cook some gumbo or
Yeah.
Saturday night cook jambalaya. Just things like that we can sit at the table and just. But kids nowadays, I got a 17 and a 20. Guess what?
Oh, nice.
This is his computer I'm on right now, and the girl is like she loves rap as well, so she's always on her headphones and doing her own thing. But she's that's all. Just trying to get family time and maybe tonight go to the movies.
I love that. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah. Um, and I'm curious, and I actually was talking to a friend, and this is kind of something I want to ask outside of. Yeah, I was talking to a friend about, that is really near and dear to my heart. She told me that she lost someone quite recently, and we were talking about, and she said she kind of felt guilty of feeling better and laugh because we were talking on the phone, and I made her laugh and see things like in a brighter way, and she was like kind of caught herself and said, when is it too soon to move on? Is there such a thing?
Oh boy, that's a good one because um like it's almost 3 years, and I can't find a replacement for my wife because she was the
Mm,
one. She
yeah.
was the one, and it's like, when are you supposed to smile? I got a little. I can get happy now and then, but I'm
Hmm.
mostly serious.
Yeah.
Is it too soon? Nobody's got a time limit. I mean, I had my mom was a widow. My aunt's a widow. My wife's aunt was a widow. Then I became a widow, and then my cousin's a widow. It's like, wow, I had 5 or 6 widows to take from. So they try to, hey, you can't find somebody because you're trying to pick them apart, trying to get Sally, your wife, back. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to get her back, but I'm trying to. But they are truthful. Is nobody's going to be her, and I guess I'm not ready.
Okay. I gotcha. Gotcha. Do you see your music eventually crossing into film or visual storytelling?
Wow. Yeah. What they call that? They call that like for to go into the video.
Yeah.
Like for TV shows, like let's just say Yellowstone or Marshalls or something like that. Because some of the movies that you watch or them series or be
Yeah.
about that. I got some brutal truths. Like I leave the blood on the page. I probably have 17 or 18 of them. That's life. I've seen it. This is detail exactly what happened. Say the day my dad committed suicide, that morning
Yeah.
to after we found him, and to the day after. And it's like you can't make this detail up. You can't the graphite, the smell of the gunpowder in the sky.
Mm,
Him being in the field, my mom tripping over him. We just it's just things that I keep all the details in. Because I'm
it's
like,
it's
if people
beautiful.
can experience, uh, see, they can picture themselves in that scene. It's like it's not a scene. It's the truth.
It's
So
truth.
it would be really nice to be able to have some of the songs maybe be used for finishing the scene off to make the scene more dramatic. But
Mm-hmm.
who knows?
Mm-hmm. All right, that's awesome. So I have a fun question, and there's no wrong answer, I promise.
Yes, ma'am.
The three levels of influence: money, power, and respect. If you could choose only one of those things, which one would you choose and why?
respect, because money is going to do what? I just say it's the root of evil.
Hmm.
Everybody needs money, but money can go to
Right.
your head. I'm trying to do this. So when my wife died, we didn't have life insurance. So I ended up with
Mm.
a mound of bills, and I'm trying to struggle my way out. But money would help it. But I
Yeah.
also, this is for my kids. This is so if something, their mom died at 42. What if I die at 54?
Right.
I need
Right.
them to be taken care of. So
Right.
respect is more of the thing. Power. I don't need power. Power goes to people's heads.
Yeah.
So I just think respect is the best.
I love that. Great answer. Great answer.
Yeah.
Um, if you could, you know, perform with any artist, living or dead, who would it be and why?
Uh, George Jones.
All right.
His song that I love. His song. He stopped loving her today. Wow. You know what I'm saying? It's like that song was made when I was born, and I'm like, I still like it to this day. I just think he can. We got a local artist, Sammy Kershaw, and he can sing like George Jones. So it's like, who knows? He's just right here in Acadiana. So maybe one
Nice.
day I'll be lucky enough to meet him, and he wanna sing something.
I love that.
Yeah.
Um, what do you want, listeners to feel when they hear your music?
Well, what I would like them to do is if it helps them, take it and share it. If it stops you from uh, feeling like if I can say just a minute, I met my wife at my lowest. I went to a mental
Mm,
hospital from an overdose on Ativan
wow.
at in 2004. She was a nursing student. 3 weeks later, we got married. She lost her
Wow.
career, and but 19 years in a day, we until the day she died, we was together. So um, she was there for my lowest point, and if I can help people to not get to that lowest point, or to understand you're not alone, um, then that's what it needs. Just to save another life, or to say there's an option. People love you and they need you. Uh, the end that my dad did wasn't talked about. It was just, hey, his choice, his time, his reasoning, without consulting the family. So I'm like, I did that selfish stuff too. So my son recently, and about 4 years ago, went through the same thing, and I'm like, but he
Mm.
lived because he ended up in the same mental institution that I ended up at. So if I could,
Oh, so
I'm
sorry.
not ashamed to say I was in the mental institution for 5 times because of something I inherited.
Hmm.
Um, I didn't ask for depression and the stuff that goes with it, but it just runs in the family. So I'm just trying to change that way. I won't do what my dad did, so my
Yeah.
son won't do what his dad did. So
I see like the generational.
curse.
Yeah,
Yes.
I gotcha. Yeah, it's interesting. My sister and I was kind of we kind of talked about that briefly 2 days ago or something like that, and we were talking about it takes a really strong person to break the cycle. Because like you said, I love that you said you're not embarrassed to say those things because it is a part of your journey, it's a part of your story, and a part of who what makes you who you are, which makes you even greater than, where you like who a person, I think sometimes we look at those things as negative and we want to present perfect to people when really it's not a it's not the reality of life. It's like no one's perfect. So I love that what you said. I think that's a really admirable thing to do. Were you always like that? I'm not ashamed of your story.
My wife would want to crack my head, at times, because she's like, man, you putting all our business there. Well, I'm not ashamed of our business. My business,
Hmm.
I'll make some stupid decisions. She made some stupid decisions. Hey, you know what?
Yeah.
It is what it is. Oh, you're not supposed to share that with your clients. Well, I talk a lot. So I ended up sharing too much stuff, and
Hmm.
I'd pay for it. But I mean, she also knew that's who I was. And I'm genuine. I tried to tell the truth.
Hmm.
If you're just gonna fabricate something, well, what's the point? You know.
Right. Absolutely. I love that. Um, Wow, I'm just listening and I needed to hear this, so thank you.
Yes,
Um,
ma'am.
um, what advice would you give to anyone out there that's trying to get into the music world and really they don't really know what to do, but what advice would you give them?
Man, don't stop. Just sit there on Google and ask every question imaginable. I didn't find Eli Beaird Music Group by nothing. I asked Google. I went through Fiverr. I went to Sugar Hill Studios in Houston. They did a fantastic job, but they didn't know how to work with country music. They
Hmm.
mainly did rap. So I'm like, it might have been not really a waste of money, but I got experience. So I asked the questions that you don't ask, just ask it. Ask Google. Just ask you to, don't just take oh well one no. Just keep asking and don't let nobody say no.
Mm,
Make your own
hmm.
choice. Write your story. When something comes to you, put it on paper because in the future you can use them that little line you wrote to formulate a song. So everybody's story deserves to be told and heard.
Absolutely.
So that's the only thing I would suggest them to do.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. This
Yes,
was
ma'am.
great to talk to you. I
Yes, ma'am.
really feel like I believe in divine timing and things, and this was a timely conversation. Because just hearing what you're saying, it's like solidifies and it's confirmation for my own situation. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Absolutely, absolutely. Is there anything coming up that you have down the pipeline that you would like to share with the audience?
Wow. Yeah, I have. Oh, so I had a meeting with the publisher, which was Matt Turner from Concord Records, and he heard my next three tracks, more commercial, and he's like, no notes, no nothing, just praise. Well, not praise, but I mean, he just had all good things to say. He's like, whatever you do, don't stop writing. Write
Yeah,
one song a day, and tomorrow do it again. Other than that, I have around Memorial Day, I got Heaven's Got a View, which is not as sad. It's kind of like it's a wife. It's a song to my wife and my dad and my sister. So I kind of left it universal, but it was for
nice.
my wife. So that's coming around Memorial Day. That'll be our next release. About a week before Memorial Day. But
Okay,
it's about loss, and hope.
definitely. Definitely. I like that. Great. It's such a timely, you know, timely message. So yeah, I can't wait to hear that and please come back for sure. Also, where can people find you on social media to follow everything you have going
Okay,
on?
we have we we knew we trying we working from scratch, so we got a little website. It's called Black Sheep Records Music LLC.com, and then you can reach us at Black Sheep Records at gmail.com. And we try and look, we're doing everything ourselves. So my son's working on the it's glitchy, but remember we're doing this ourselves, so nobody's
Yeah.
taught us. So we're working on it. It's a work in progress, but and you can stream the songs on you know SoundCloud, Apple, Google,
Okay.
YouTube. You
Nice.
can ask for that. The thing is, my name Joesph Blue was misspelled unintentionally, but that's how I
Okay.
used to spell it when I was in school. Joesph. Um,
Nice.
it just came back. You know, Someone asked me, why is it spelled like that? Well, I didn't know how to spell it when I was in school, so I guess it
Ah,
just came back and
nice.
accident. But I'm not gonna change it.
I like that. I like that. It's,
Thank you.
it's like a part of who you are. So just embrace it. I love
Yes,
it. I love that. It's great. That's awesome. Again, thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure. And come back anytime.
thank you.
Thank you. And thank you all for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
TV was glowing, you were fast asleep. Swept the floors quiet, promises to keep. Early to bed, just like you always did. Held my breath tight, closed every noise it did. Reached for your hand, stillness hitting me cold.